Yo, what's good with y'all? And as you know, I'm sure if you're tapping to the underground, you know Nine Vicious is, right? The new young thug signee and all that. What if I told you there was someone in the same position as him? Someone who was getting signed and someone who was getting the samples just like he was. And that is Apollo Red. Now, Apollo Red's come up is a little bit different than Nine Vicious. For starters, he doesn't have any allegations or he really doesn't really diss anyone either. He's just a genuine good artist. Now, this video isn't to glaze or slander. It's to figure out who's a better artist between the two. And let me tell you, it's a lot more complicated than you think. And to start this debate, we're going with the signs. Now, Apollo Red is signed to Opium, which is, Playboy Cardi, Ken Carson, Destroy Lonely, and Homicide Gang. So he already has, all these high-level artists backing him up, while Nine Vicious is signed to YSL. Now, the last people I knew that was signed to YSL was Gunna and Lil Keed. Lil Keed tragically passed away, and Gunna and Young Thug are no longer on good terms. So, when it comes down to who got the better deal, I would say Apollo Red takes that point. Now it's time for our next category, image/media. You would think Apollo Red would get this because he signed to Opium, right? But Opium members are mostly mysterious and don't really post that much, while Nine consistently posts almost every single day on his story, or he's making a post or something like that. Like he's really getting his name out there. He's trying to be the most talked thing all the time, which including all the disses that he does and all the samples. He's really getting there to be the most talked thing. And I think Nine just got done with a tour, or wasn't he in the UK or something like that a couple weeks ago? I think I'm not really sure. So with all that being said, Nine Vicious takes this point. And now it's time for the most crucial point, the music. Now, I've been bumping Apollo Red and Nine Vicious for a while now. About a year for both of the artists. They both dropped some heavy hitting albums. Nine Vicious has more albums, while Apollo has, he likes to put more quality over quantity in his albums, while Nine likes to make a lot of music, so he can keep his name, keep his traction going in the underground, because the underground goes fast, and you can become irrelevant really quick. And Nine knows how to stay relevant. I can give him that. Nine definitely knows what he's doing. And also to mention that Nine and Ahmad are like the modern day Cardi and Pierre. So he's got, good beats. He has a good label backing him up. But Apollo has the same thing. Apollo even has actually more producers backing him than Nine does. Apollo has Clayco, he has Filthy, he has Backwoods. So my final verdict, after carefully listening to all their music, the features, everything, I gotta give it to Apollo Red. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. This was a very close bout. The YSL versus YVL, man, it's crazy. And I feel like, when we get more when we get more YVL members and YSL members, we can probably have this conversation again with other artists. This isn't my last time doing this. I want to do this with a lot more artists that are in the same scene, so be sure to look out for that. And also to explain why Apollo Red won, Nine is heavily carried by his controversy, and he is carried by Ahmad. And I feel like if Nine didn't have Ahmad, he wouldn't be as popular. He probably wouldn't get near as many samples as he has now. And Apollo Red doesn't really lean on that. I feel like Apollo Red is a lot more of a better artist. He doesn't lean on controversy. He doesn't really even lean on his label. He rarely mentions Cardi or Ken or any of those, really. He just he's kind of like the standout of Opium. He just makes music. He doesn't really reference them or anything like that. Ken, he references Lone, and Lone references Ken a lot. And there's nothing wrong with references, but it's Nine always negatively references people. Like, he said something about Fazo. I think he took like Rich Amiri's girl or something like that. I don't really know, but controversy only takes you so far. Like, even Jace was like that at one point. But when Jace was doing his controversy, most of the time it wasn't about, you know, him being a pred. He was like, it's always about someone that was being a pred, or, you know, snitching or something like that. And now Jace is pretty, he's turned a new leaf. He's pretty humble. I think he's into like BAKJ now, but that's not about like anything that's too crazy. That's really about like who's the best rapper out of Texas. But yeah, gang, with that being said, ApolloRed's the winner. This won't be the last time I do this. Trust me, I had a lot of fun doing this. And if you stay this long, you're a real one, man. Give yourself a pound of back. So yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, share the video, comment if you want to. Yeah, you can comment some more of these videos I can do about who you think, who you want to see, who's the better artist, and I'll just, you know, I'll see. So yeah, I'll probably be starting a Discord soon. Yeah, I'll be starting a Discord soon. I hit around like 50 subscribers, and I might play still an underground rapper on Roblox, and I might see what that's about, you know, show off my collection. So yeah, until next time, peace.